All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Kakodash. Double honor to the apostle of the Great Millstone. And such you brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity. All right, and you know, as the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words. So this is a lesson on what some of those words are after looking through some images from the brother who was in his travels. You know, he took images like this is Schaffhausen, Switzerland. All right, and what do you see? Jake. All right. Images into the buildings. All right. This shows that Jake was ruling. And of course, you got eventually, because the Renaissance did happen, which, Lord willing, we're going to touch on that. And you will start to see, of course, Edomite images or whitewashed images. This ring's so fucking dope. Jake, boy, they got that authority. This is raw. All right. Jake, man. But this is what caught my attention. Well, let me still show some more of these things. There's different churches in Germany. Well, it's just Jake all over the place, man. Jake everywhere. Which proves that Jake ruled Europe for 1,000 years. You know, you can start with the Byzantine Empire. Look it up. Byzantine Empire, okay? And here goes some more in Switzerland. And this is a castle. You see these coats of arms, you're going to see Jake, right? Because we ruled for 1,000 years per the prophecy. Esau was tucked away. At one point, it became the Eastern Roman Empire, a.k.a. the Byzantine Empire. And this is when Jake was ruling. And then from there, we rule in Rome, which Rome spread out through. Rome is little as hell in Italy. All right? But it ruled with its allies across Europe. And then it became Eastern Roman Empire when the new hub moved eastward. But it still was Europe, basically. Niggas took over. And here are images proving that. All right? But this is what caught my attention. Of course, you see Jake. And then you see this. And I asked the brother about this. He said, this Esau, the wild man. So I ended up doing a Google search on this image. And this is referred to as the wild man and wild woman. And when you go into it, this became a huge part of their artwork coming out of the caves. Because they have become what? The wild man and wild woman. So it says wild man, wild woman appear. Now, it goes off because, of course, they want to elevate their shit, right? But let's keep going. Wild man and wild woman appear in various artworks, often symbolizing freedom. And when they say freedom, they mean debauchery. The same idea of freedom that America has is the same idea of freedom that's been mentioned here. It's full of debauchery, being a transsexual, all right, being a weirdo, all this weird shit, man. Then it says nature, of course, a man in the field, or rustic strength. From medieval heraldic supports to 16th century Germany, and that'll be the 1500s. Remember, Esau started coming out the caves. Let's just call it the 1300s, 1400s, right? German woodcuts by artists like Hans Gudemann. The figures are sometimes shown in allegorical or fantasy context, interacting with beasts or supporting coats. And this is it. This is the first thing that pops up. The first example, medieval heraldry. A painted panel from around 1490 by Lucas Zahner shows a wild man and woman as supporters for the arms of Kaiberg. It says symbolizing strength and potency. That's what they say. Now, when you look up supporting coats of arms, as they were doing, they was holding coats of arms. It's usually, like it says, ornament figures, often animals or human figures, that are placed on either side of a coat of arms to hold the shield. All right. Figures, they can be a wide variety of figures such as animals, mythical beasts, or human figures. For example, a unicorn often represents Scotland, while lions are a symbol for England. Supporters can have symbolic meaning, but they do not have special heraldic significance and are not reserved for specific social classes or groups. All right. Then it says they are often granted to individuals or groups of importance. All right, because to have a coat of arms, you had to be, somebody. But the supporters don't have to be anybody. All right, and also when you go into this wild man, and right here we go. In some traditions, supporters are considered optional heraldic accessories and can be changed. So that could be a whitewashed image after they started getting the power, where they took the coat of armor and put them there. Or it could have been used as a mythical sense. Because there is history to this wild man, apparently. And this is more art of the wild man because they start popping up everywhere. All right? This became a big thing. Common in medieval art. Here we go. The wild man is human-like in appearance, with long, shaggy hair over his entire body, and typically carries the club, living at the fringe of society in woodland areas. Wild man symbol, which this is Esau. These are Edomites. Esau is referred to as a wild man. All right. Wild men symbolize man in his natural, uncivilized state. Perhaps derived from the part man, part beast satire of antiquity. The wild man symbolized lust and aggression. That's that freedom, that lust. Contrary to the spiritual love embodied in medieval chivalry. So the wild man was to use the contrast of the chivalrous. The wild man represents the lust. Okay? The wild man represents everything Esau, aka the serpent, is about. The serpent was cursed to what? Go upon his belly, which means his lust. Let's grab that. This is a great segue. So Genesis 3:14, and Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And that dust represents confusion. All right, waters, wisdom, dust is what? It's the opposite, confusion. So that belly represents going upon the lust. Proverbs 13:25, the righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. So that's that desire. All right. So let's get this. So the serpent was cursed to go upon his lust, right? What's that got to do with the white man? Revelation 12:1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And we know this woman represents the nation of Israel. All right. And this, what we read, is going into the birth of Yahweh Shai. And then it expands. Then it goes to a little more. But this is what it starts off going into. All right. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. All right. And the precepts to prove that this woman is Israel's, the scripture says Israel is referred to as a comely, delicate woman. Then the vision that Joseph had of the 12 stars, the sun and the moon. So this represents the nation of Israel. All right. Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. What are the stars? We just referred to Joseph's dream. The stars represents the nation of Israel. Right? And did cast him to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, to devour her child as soon as it was born. So who did this? This is not talking about a dragon popping up out of the ocean to grab our Lord Yahweh Shai. No, this is the Roman army. This is Esau, the fourth beast. All right? This is the fourth beast. Plain and simple. Let's get Daniel real quick. Might as well. Don't want to cheat. I feel like it's easier to do it this way. That's not it. Daniel 7. And this is in chronological order. Let me make sure I got the damn mic on. This phone be tweaking, okay? These kingdoms and these beasts go in chronological order. So, of course, we know Babylon, all right, then Media Persia, then Greece, and it describes them. And then we get this fourth beast. So, Daniel 7 and 7. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. Nobody can stop Rome. All right. Even Greece, even when Greece was in the power, even when the Ptolemies and Seleucus, they was fighting back and forth, Rome still put fear in their hearts. Okay. Rome was taking down whatever they wanted. And it was just smart to be cool with them. Okay. And that's in the book of Maccabees. That's another lesson. And it was diverse from all the beasts there before it. And it had 10 horns. Same thing the Revelation is saying, man. All right, remind me later, man. Same thing Revelation is saying about this dragon, this beast here. It's the same beast. All right. And the 10 horns represents these different, what we call Europe today, the European nations that rule with them. Today you got like Luxembourg, Ireland, etc. Back then they had France, they had different names. Gauls, Vandals, Franks, Visigoths. They just same thing, just different names. All right. Because what happens here, it says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and mouth speaking great things. Rome will come back. The Daniel just flows right into it. So it's kind of like we're ahead of the topic, but this is the point. Rome will come back. That's that little horn. All right, the horn represents power. There will be another power to come from this beast that will rule. And it'll be based off of 3 horns, which will be France, Britain, and Spain. Those 3 horns form America. All right. So let's go back to Revelation 12. This will come up again. That Daniel, the precept to it. So back in Revelation 12, now to understand what this beast is with his 10 horns, and it says his tail drew the 3rd parts of the stars, which represents what? When they rolled against Judah. What's the 3 parts of the stars of Judah? Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the 3 tribes. Each star representing a tribe. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered. Well, who was being delivered? Yahushua. And who came against us? Rome. For to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth the man child who was to rule all nations, which proved it's talking about Yahushua. His name is not JC. That's an idol. The letter J didn't exist until the 1600s. We usually say 1634, but they was playing around with it before. But in the 1600s, okay? Her child was caught up unto the Most High and to his throne. All right? Yeah, we got to keep going because another point. And the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared of God that they should feed her there 1,260 days. I just talking about the nation of Israel. The woman again refers to Israel. And that's us going to the wilderness. We lost our land and look where we at in America. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Well, we know this dragon, this beast, it's Esau. All right. Well, right now we know it's Rome. Let's not say Esau yet. We don't know it's Esau yet. We ain't hit the precepts on it. So let's say we don't know. So we know it's Rome, though, right? Because who up top? Who was that? Rome. And the dragon fought and his angels. So what does the angel represent? The Lord called his angels what? His host. All right, the word angel really simply means messenger, depending on what you look at. It means messenger. All right. So Esau fighting with his armies, his host. That's why they have a space force created now. This war in heaven means a war in the sky, man. This ain't talking about Satan deciding to turn against the Lord. That doesn't happen nowhere in the scriptures. It's clear that Satan works for the Lord. Read the book of Job. All right. And read how the disciples marveled at how the spirits obeyed. When Legion was on that man, he didn't disagree with Yahweh Shai. He didn't scoff at him. No, he said, "Well, put me in the swine and don't just take me out now." No, all spirits obey the Lord and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven, which means rulership, right? And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with them. So they lost their power. All right, plain and simple. Esau or Rome loses his power. Now, it says to deceive the whole world. Let's get this Revelation 20. Because that is his job. This is Revelation 20 and 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And that bottomless pit is Europe, because Europe, you really can't grow crops over there. All right, it's barren. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. So we know when you read Revelation, that serpent, now we know it's a man. Right? It says, and bound him 1,000 years. That 1,000 years is what we were just looking at in those pictures. When the Byzantine Empire, as it grew and increased, eventually Esau was chased into the caves. Those Romans, those so-called white people, those Romans, were chased off into the caves. All right, they were chased into the wilderness. Okay? That's why we call Edomites Caucasians, because that's what a lot of them went. Let's get this. This is let's get to Job. Let's get to Job. Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have been derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Right? And younger means insignificant, lesser. These are lesser people. All right? These are lesser people, and that's who is ruling over us. People so vile, Job said he wouldn't even let them sit with his dogs, man. And that artwork, what we looked at, they called them what? The wild men. And it said it represented lust. What did it say? Let me go back to this. It said, living at the fringes of society in woodland areas, wild men symbolized man in his natural, uncivilized state. Perhaps derived from the part man, part beast satire of antiquity, the wild man symbolized lust and aggression. All right? And this became a huge part of their art, bro. This wild man. All right, let's keep going. Job 30 and 2. Yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Desolate and waste. When their kingdom fell, all right, they got chased away. Who wants to deal with this vile man? Nobody. Look at what the whole world is protesting against. Who? They call him the colonizer. This man is a violent, filthy beast. No. A vile, filthy, freaky deaky beast. You got to put the freaky deaky in there, man. Because look at the fucking... Hey, let's talk about the Austrian painter. with the tiny mustache, the first thing he started to burn of that specific group, the first building was a building that was for transgenders. They was already getting into that shit back then. All right? Let's talk about Pornhub being banned in all these different states now. You know, a rabbi owns Pornhub. Esau was a freaky, dicky, vile beast, man. He goes after his lust. All right, look, man. A nigga never heard of the peanut butter dog joke until Esau made it a thing. I remember the first time I seen it, man. It was the movie. It was called Road Trip. And then I started realizing they talk about that a lot. There was another one, I think it's Office Space or something, when the dude used to let the dog lick the peanut butter off his toes. Esau's a freaky dicky. This is why Job wouldn't want to eat him with his damn dogs, man. Pig brothels over in Europe, man. Because Esau was freaky. All right? He's a fucking animal. You got to get rid of them, bro. They can't be around. For one and family, they were solitary, left alone. Nobody wants them around, man. Flinging to the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. All right? So they got chased away. The solitary confinement in the wilderness, in the caves. To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and caves of the earth and in rocks. The Caucasus Mountains. Fast forward to today, what do they build? Mountain ranges. When you're looking at the skylines, you're looking at man-made mountain ranges. All right? Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles, they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now am I their song? Yeah, I am their byword. We look down upon by the vilest man on the planet. It's a picture floating around. I think it's the nigga that owned Jimmy John's butt naked laying on top of a fucking shark in a boat. But we look down upon. Because niggas have been put in an experiment, put in poverty, and then the only way out is to do bullshit, and it was designed that way. Which niggas ain't, they don't get no pass for the shit, because fuck it, bro. Figure it out. But the point is, it was set up this fucking way. Esau's the fucking vile man. He's the, as they artwork the wild man. He is the modern day satire, man. Representing lust. Uncivilized. It said among the bushes they brayed, grunting. All right, the 13th tribe, Edomite described the Edomite experience. What they were doing in the caves, picking lice at their heads, eating it, drinking out their ancestor skulls. This man is nasty. All right? They never use washcloths. For the majority, they never use washcloths on their body. They never use a loofah, a motherfucking a brush, a shower brush. They wash their hair and let the shampoo run down their body. This shit they be saying. It's like at no point do you not use a washcloth, nigga. Like that's crazy. But this is who we're dealing with. A wild man. He was chased out the earth. Now let's go back to Revelation 20. That became his prison. This Revelation 20 and 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which we now know is the Roman army. So we know what happened after that 1,000 years. They got chased away. That's why they came back and they called themselves what? The Caucasians. They was in the mountains. The old serpent was the devil and Satan and bound him 1,000 years. That's the Byzantine Empire. We ruled that 1,000 years. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him. He should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So this beast, who we know, according to Revelation 12, is the Roman army, is the Romans. They fell for 1,000 years and then came back. What made Rome different, like I said in Daniel? Even after Rome fell, eventually monarchies got set back up, as it was all throughout history. Now we have again the same Roman system of rule. A Senate house, a man that was set up in office, all right, and then it changes. That's what made Rome different. Democracy, as they put it today. All right? So that's the little horn. America came back in power out of France, Spain, and Britain. A little horn was formed, which is America. Rome came back in power. And that's where we at today. Okay? To deceive the nations, which is what it's doing. All right? Just as 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, tells us. We're going to bounce around, really hit the points of it. 2 Thess 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which means destruction. All right? And he is all about bringing destruction. All right? His blessing is the sword. Okay? And what that Daniel said, he could not be stopped. Iron teeth. Okay? And also, his job is to be destroyed. When thou cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So he put his images up as the Most High. He put his images up as the angels, as the Israelites. All right. He whitewashed everything. They call it Renaissance art. Okay. Well, they call it whitewashing, when they took other dark images and put their images up. All right. And not only that, it said he's opposeth and exalted himself. So he's against actual God. Everything about this place is contrary to what's righteous. And then they teach Scientology. Then they teach evolution, which easily debunked. Okay. Let's keep going. Remember you not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know that now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. So he wasn't meant to be exposed yet for who he is. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Who was ruling then? The Romans. So Revelation 12, we read it, we know it's Rome. Now we have the pieces to go through the different precepts. Like we're doing now, we're going to figure out that this is Esau, the wild man. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So who was meant to be the one in rulership when our Lord returns? Who will be the last ruler of this earth when the Lord returns to save his children? The same people that's ruling right here when Paul is writing. All right, he says already working. Who will be that rulers? Well, we know Isaiah 63. We know Lamentations 4 and 21. We know 2nd Ezra 6. Edom will be the last ruler. All right. Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan. That's why Revelation 12 says he's called Satan, that old serpent. Because this is the physical counterpart of Satan on this earth. Esau, Edom is Satan, which Satan really just means adversary. He is our natural born adversary. This is why Jacob and Esau fought in the womb. All right. This is why Cain killed Abel, because Cain reincarnated is Esau. That's why he has the mark of Cain, which when you look up the word the let me go to it. Let me go to it. I don't want to. The plague of leprosy, right here when it says the plague of leprosy. This word for plague, all right, Nagai or Nagai, all right, is stroke, plague, disease, mark. Then it says mark of leprosy. That's what Cain had. He lost his melanin. Okay? That's the mark. Esau had it from the womb. What it said, the old leprosy. All right, that yellow thin blonde hair they got, that's leprosy. That lack of melanin they got, that's leprosy. And then you got some of them where the leprosy flares back up and they get that raw red skin on them. That just shows they extra wicked. All right, so back in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders and with all deceivableness. So there you go. He came out to deceive the nations. That's a man we're talking about. That's a nation. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So let me keep going. I got to read this last one. And for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. All right. So there's a man who is called Satan on this earth, called the devil, called the wicked one. All right. And who is that? This is Malachi. One. And I started 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Which, of course, we know this place would be totally eradicated and only wild creatures will live here. All right, so that's one layer to this, okay, because heritage also means your land. But Esau's heritage is that he is the dragon. He is the wicked one. All right, the scripture's manifold. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return. But we will return. Okay? That little horn. But we will return and build the desolate places. He will come back after 1,000 years. He will rebuild. He will deceive the nations again. He will reestablish Rome, a Senate house. All right? Republicans, Democrats, plebeians, patricians. He will reinvent Rome. Okay? We will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness. So now we have a face to who that wicked one is. All right, because Rome isn't mentioned in the 18 nations in Genesis. So who is it? It's Edom. And the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever. All right. So we in Revelation, we read that he would get taken down for 1,000 years, the Byzantine Empire, of course. He will come back and rule. And that's what's happening right now, man. This is Revelation 13. Yeah, we'll get to the point. 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So this is the same beast. This is Rome. That same dragon, right? And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose daily wound was healed. So this is Rome reincarnated. The same beast that was before this. This is the same beast. This is Rome again. All right, this is Rome again. All right, it says one of his, verse 3, and I saw one of his his as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. So Rome came back, this mighty nation. Europe got power. They came to America, specifically three nations: France, Britain, Spain, three of the horns. All right. And America was formed out of that. And when America was formed out of that, democracy came up. America got more power, and the world faced Rome again. Whatever the face of the company wanted, America, Europe is allies of Europe. They would go bomb whoever, cause fire to come down on them, like it says. That's the miracle. And the world will fucking follow. Because who can make war with the beast? Like it said in Daniel the 7th chapter. The great iron teeth, man, wherever it wanted, it fucking did it. By violence. All right? But this man has been gaining that power back since what you call the Renaissance. And that's who we have ruling, this wild man. Let's go back to this. All right? Now, in fact, it's this. So we got that picture. Now you seen all the black art, and then Esau started popping up. Now let's see if I can find this. Yeah, what does the wild man symbolize? Lust and aggression. It says to indicate his combative nature, which may have led to his portrayal in the heraldic tradition, symbolized the protector of the family coat of arms. He became a damn myth. It was something else I had seen. Fuck. Here we go. This is it. Pair of wild man and wild woman, oak, late 16th century, German or Flemish. And look how they wild, full of hair. All right. A rare pair of late 16th century carved oak figural terms. One carved as a wild man, the other as a wild woman. Both beneath an iconic capital, carved holding up a club, and covered in fur. The wild man and wild woman became a theme in sculptural and painting during the 16th century. Oh, here we go. Due to the discovery of new territories by European countries. So Esau started getting power when they started leaving images around. And what did they refer to him as? The wild man and wild woman. Because Esau came out the caves, a wild man and wild woman. And this is who he is. The old serpent that goes upon his belly. And Esau described as what? This is Revelation. No, I'm tweaking. This is Genesis 25. And 23. And the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So in that description, it talks about the chivalrous, and then the wild man represented the contrary. Esau was that wild man, the contrary. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red. Who's the only red people on the planet? You can see the blood through their skin. That's the redness. All right? Who is that? They call the Chinese yellow. They call us black. They call everybody else brown. Who's the red one? Edom, the so-called white man. Which everybody else is brown, man. Esau is the only different one here. Okay? And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau, Ishwa, which means wasted away. He's half dead. He already lost his damn melanin. He's through. That's exactly what Aaron said about Miriam when she got leprosy. As one that is half dead from the womb, wasted away. And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 70 old when she bare them. There was nothing different about him. He looked like a regular human. He had melanin. Esau's the weird one. Let's keep going. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So the wild man images proves that the so-called white man is Edom. That's why the video was titled, "A Picture Says 1,000 Words." That painting, that glass stain painting proves, or glass stain artwork, however you want to put it, and then the other statues that I showed, and how this became a common artwork when Esau was getting to power. The wild man, wild woman, it proves that he is Edom. Okay? And here's another good little nugget, right? So this is Genesis 27. And 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said to him, "My son." And he said to him, "Behold, here am I." So this is to Esau, right? And he said, "Behold, now I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, that thy quiver and thy bow, that wild man, and go out to the field and take me some venison." All right, verse 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, "Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth." Let's keep going. "And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat it, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man." That wild man was wearing hair, was covered in hair. They would put a hairy garment on or covered in hair, like we just read in the descriptions, man. Let's see if I can find that again. This one says holding a club and covered in fur. Let me just try this one in instead. What is this? Is this one? Common in medieval art, the wild man is human-like in appearance with long shaggy hair over his entire body. Plain and simple. I got to show y'all the painting again. Look at this, covered in hair, man. Wild man and woman supporting the arms of Kyberg. Covered in hair. But her nipples out. All this hair on their body. Yet this bitch nipples still managed to be out. A wild freaky deaky, man. Okay? So back in Genesis 27, it says in 11, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, Behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. So that's why that artwork is portrayed like that, man. It proves that Esau, Edom, is the so-called white man. All right? My father peradventure will feel me and shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I should be a curse upon and it should be a, and I should be a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said to him, upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice, and go fetch them, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. So she made him hairy. So when his father feel him, he can feel like he's touching the wild man. All right? So that's that, man. The so-called white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. All right, the old serpent, the wild man, he is Esau Edom. All right? Damn, that's just scripture in Psalms. It says the earth, you know, them type and declare. Damn. I thought it said the earth should declare his works. These artifacts, man, go crazy. What was 139 verses? Well, Lord willing, somebody will see, one of the brothers on the video post the precept. I can't word it perfect enough to find it, but it basically says the earth shall declare his works, or spring. Truth shall spring out of the earth. Lord raw. It's Psalms 85 and 11. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. So there's a lot of artifacts, things on this earth that's supporting the truth of the scriptures, man. All right, and also, of course, the truth is spring out of the earth because the brothers is preaching. All right, but the truth is here, man. Esau Edom is the so-called white man, the wild man, and his time is up. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai Ba'asham Kodash. Double honor to the apostle of the great millstone. And shout out to you brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth, and with charity. Shalom, wa ba ba ba.